Hey guys, how's it going? This is Autobot JCB here again for another How to Transform video. In today's video, I'm going to be showing you part 2 of my Transformers Energon Combiner series. And as you can see here, I've got 5 more figures to show you, and these are the 2004 Transformers Energon Aerialbots. We have Stormjet, Sky Shadow, Treadshot, Windraiser, and Terra. Now, in addition to being able to transform, these guys have the ability to combine into the heroic Superion Maximus. For those of you who are familiar with the Aerialbot series, you guys will know that these are a reintroduction of I believe the Aerialbots were introduced in either G1 or G2. I don't know for sure. But these are the Transformers Energon reintroduction of those characters. As you can see here, Treadshot and Windraiser appear to be modeled after, I believe, the F-22 Raptor. Sky Shadow and Terra appear to be modeled after the A-10 Warthog. And Stormjet appears to be modeled after either the SR-71 Blackbird or, in my opinion, the X-Jet from X-Men. But what I'm going to do first is we're going to start with Stormjet, and then I'm going to show you how to transform the smaller figures, and then we will get on to combining them all into Superion Maximus. So for right now, we're going to move the smaller components off of the side, and we're going to bring Stormjet in for a close-up. Like I said, I think that his jet mode may be modeled after the SR-71 or something similar. In my personal opinion, I think he kind of resembles the X-Jet from X-Men. I have to admit, I love the mixture of the red, white, and blue, kind of give him that patriotic look. I especially love they kind of put a little bit of gold coloring in, like with his joints and with the exhaust for his thrusters and stuff like that. So what we're going to do first, we're going to go ahead and transform him. And what we're going to do first is we're going to flip him over, because the first thing we're going to do is we're going to fold up his landing gear. We need those out of the way because it'll make transforming him a lot easier. So now we'll flip him back over. You'll see that there's a big hinge right here. And what we're going to do is we're going to grab this whole rear section and we're going to fold it up just like that. The next thing we're going to do is you'll see that there's another hinge right here. We're going to take this whole section and we're going to bend it down just like that. And then what we'll do is we'll take this, fold this down, and fold this down. Now this section right here will actually become his legs. So what we'll do is we'll pop it out to the side. We'll pull on it, which will actually make it extend a bit. And then we'll turn it around just like that. So we'll pop it out to the side, pull, make it extend, and then turn it around just like that. We'll go ahead and bring them back down. Now these little panels right here, there are 4 of them. There's 2 on the front and 2 on the back. They can be a little bit of a pain. One thing I have found out is that if you take your fingernail and you get right into this groove on all 4 pieces, go ahead and pop that out with your nail, and it will actually make those kind of fold out a little bit to make it a little bit easier on you. So pop that out just like that. And pop that out, and fold those down. And there, we already have Stormjet's legs ready to go. Pretty easy, pretty quick to do. All right, so now what we're going to do is we're going to move up to these pieces right here. We're going to fold these down halfway, just like this, and then fold up this white piece just like this. And there we go. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to come right here, and we're going to pull this piece out just like that. Turn it and flip up the fin. And that is actually Stormjet's arm. He's got a little bit of a hinge right here. He's got he has a little bit of a wrist joint right here, and then obviously his shoulder goes up and down and then can bend. A little bit of articulation, so if you wanted to try and pose him, you could. I usually just pose him where he's just kind of standing there staring off into space like a statue. And then, well, anyway, getting back on task, what we'll do is we'll come over here and we'll fold that down, fold that over, and then flip up the other fin, just like that. And there we have Stormjet's arms ready to go. Finally, what we'll do is we're going to come back here. We're going to take this piece, and it's on a hinge right here. We're going to turn it 180 degrees, and we're going to bring it up. And then it'll actually pop on another hinge right here. You can see the pin. Go ahead and pop that out just like that. Bring this down. And then there's a little pin right here, which will actually go right into that hole right there. And that will form Stormjet's chest. The next thing we'll do is we're going to come right here and we're going to fold this piece down out of the the canopy of the ship. If it helps, you can fold his chest piece back up just like this, just to get it out of the way. That way you don't have to worry about damaging anything. But anyway, go ahead and fold that out and then lay it on that piece right there. And now we'll go ahead and fold that back over and reconnect that. There we go. Put that down just like that. Now, one thing you'll notice is that if you look in his shoulders, you'll see that there's a little hole right there above my finger, if you guys can see it. There's one on both sides, and you'll see that there's these little pins right here. What you need to do is you need to fold these down and connect his shoulders into those little pins, the ports on his shoulders into those little pins, because that will solidify the connection for his shoulder. So we'll go ahead and fold that one down. And sometimes these like to fold down a little farther than you want them to. There we go. And then finally what we'll do is we'll go ahead and turn his head around. And there we have Stormjet. As you can see here, he's got a pretty neat alt mode, in my opinion. I think that it's pretty cool that we basically folded the jet into thirds just to kind of give him that compressed feeling, or that compressed look, so that way he actually doesn't look like he's got a jet hanging off of him. But anyway, so there's Stormjet, and now what I'm going to do is we're going to set him off to the side. We're going to bring in Treadshot and Windraiser. Now, just like with my Constructicon Maximus video, I stated that these pieces, the identical pieces, transform the exact same way. So I'm just going to transform one of them, and you can use the instructions for one to do the other. They are literally the exact same. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and fold up his landing gear, just like we did with Stormjet. And then we're going to take these pieces off of his wings. And we'll take that piece off. Now, this right here, this is actually a connector piece for when you combine them into Superion Maximus. I typically just leave it on the gun like that, and then what I'll do is I'll kind of put it underneath his fist to make it look like he's holding like a heavy cannon or something like that. It's entirely up to you, whatever you want to do. And one thing I also forgot to state was that if you notice, he has an Energon star right here. All of these smaller components of these combiner sets all come with their own Energon star. If you have extra ones, you could actually put them on the torso combiner pieces, but typically the main bodies for Stormjet, Steam Hammer, and Barricade, they do not actually come with Energon stars. But anyway, so getting back to Treadshot here, what we're going to do first is we're going to go ahead and pop this pin off right here. And we're going to fold this out. And then you'll notice that is the inside of his hip right here. So go ahead and fold it down just like this. And then turn it just like that. So pop off, straighten it, and then kind of twist it around just like that. And then there we have his legs. We'll go ahead and flip up his feet just like this. And then what we'll do is you'll see these two panels right here. We'll go ahead and fold this out just like this. And fold this out right just like that. And there he's already saying hi. We'll flip his arms up just like this. And then we'll flip the whole front section of the jet and click it into place just like that. And there we have his head. And there we have Treadshot transformed and ready to go. In my opinion, I think he looks pretty tough. He looks pretty tough just as is. One thing I did forget to tell you guys, when you do this, fold this piece up on its hinge right here, and then flip this piece down, so that way the stabilizers on his for his vehicle mode are kind of act like a little backpack. And then, like I said, with his weapons, you can put this in his hand just like this, just kind of under his arm, make it look like he's holding a heavy weapon. And then if you wanted to, these will actually fold up, so you could actually do this if you want to kind of give him like a little melee weapon or something. But either way, I think he looks pretty cool. So there's Treadshot and Windraiser. All right, and finally we have Sky Shadow and Terra. Now, like I said, these two are appear to be modeled after the A10 Warthog, and the reason I say that is because not only the vehicle design, but also that they have these huge, massive Gatling guns right here underneath the cockpit of their jet modes. But these ones are actually pretty easy. You can see that they also have Energon stars. What we're going to do first with Sky Shadow is we're going to go ahead and remove this piece off of the, take it out of the port right here on the top of him. We're going to set that off to the side because we will need that later, because that will also be a piece for the combiners. Now, one thing I wanted to point out with these guys, you'll notice that they don't actually have the visors that they're supposed to. These guys are some of the oldest figures in my collection, and unfortunately I lost the visor pieces a long time ago, and I've just never had any luck trying to track down those itty bitty tiny pieces. But anyway, so for Sky Shadow, what we're going to do first is we're going to go ahead and fold up his landing gear just like with everybody else. Then what we're going to do is we're going to flip up his head just like this. We're going to come over here, and you'll see the engines right here. They are actually pegged into these ports right here. We're going to go ahead and kind of wiggle them out and then flip them up. Wiggle that out, flip that up. And then what we're going to do is we're going to grab right here, and we're going to flip these open just like this. And then what we're going to do is we're going to flip this all the way around just like that. Then we'll go ahead and bring the arm down, turn it around just like that, and that will reveal his fist. So bring it down, twist it around, there's his other fist. Now, in the instructions, it states that you take this little lip right here and you pin it just underneath that edge right there. I always have trouble getting it to disconnect in order to transform him back into vehicle mode, so I typically just kind of set him up there. I know it looks goofy, but that is the easiest way on how to not damage that little clip or even his head altogether. But anyway, so when you Transformers waist, what you want to do is you want these little pieces right here, these little indents, you want them facing forward, because if you try to do it the other way, the knees won't really react well or turn well. But then what we'll do is we'll go ahead and split it along this seam right here. We'll go ahead and turn the knee and flip up the foot. And then we'll come over here and turn the knee and flip up the foot. And there we have Sky Shadow. So there's what, and that's also, like I said, that's also what Terra Dive will look like while he's transformed. Now this piece, on the other hand, it actually unfolds into either a hand or a foot for the Superion Maximus combination. But while it's like this, he actually has a big heavy-duty cannon that he can hold in his hand. Personally, I think that the cannon is a little disproportionate for the size of this character, but hey, if it looks weird or it looks cool, use it. All right. So anyway, so there we have the all of the alt modes for all of the combiners. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how to combine, or how to transform all the figures into their combiner modes. So once again, we're going to bring in Stormjet, and we're going to transform him into the torso of Superion Maximus. This one's actually pretty easy to do. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to unpeg the shoulders right here for Stormjet. We're going to turn his head around, and we're going to fold these pieces back up on either side of the head, and then push his head back up into its housing, just like that. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to come over here and we're going to flip this up out of the way, because we want this whole section out of our way for right now. The next thing we'll do is we're going to bring this down just like this, bring this down just like that, because now we want those straight, or as straight as we can possibly get them, just like that. Now what we're going to do is we're going to come right here, because we're going to actually start with the shoulders. We're going to fold the arm in just like this, and then what we're going to do is we're going to come right here, fold this over, and then make sure you turn his arm so it faces back just like that, because his fist, I'll show you guys that again, but his fist will actually connect onto that peg. So we'll start with his shoulder out, we'll bend his shoulder in, we'll turn his shoulder, and then we'll turn his wrist back and fold up his arm and connect it onto that pin just like that. And then as you can see, there's one of the connector pins for combining them with the others. So once again, we'll fold over, fold out, turn his wrist, and bring it up and peg it, put it onto that pin just like that. And then just go ahead and bring that out a little bit. And there's the shoulders for Superion Maximus, excuse me. Okay, so the next thing we'll do is we're going to come down to his legs, and we're going to fold up his feet and his toes and his heels. And then what we're going to do is we're just going to shove these up just like this. and expose those pins just like that. I apologize if that was a little rough, but you'll see that there are like little slides right here. So you push up, and then there's a little, I don't know how well you guys can see it, but there's actually a little double hinge in there. So you slide it up and then kind of wing it out and then move it up again, which will expose the link ports on his legs. Then what we'll do is we're going to come back here and we're going to bring the whole front section of his body back again. We're going to repin it. But now what we're going to do is we're going to open this piece right here, which is on a hinge. And there's Superion's head. We'll flip up his head just like this. We'll close his chest. And then we'll turn his head all the way around. And there we have the body of Superion Maximus. Pretty simple to transform. I apologize if you guys have any questions about if I missed anything. I do apologize. I haven't done this one for a very long time. But there is the body of Superion Maximus. All right, so set that off to the side. And next, what we're going to do is I'm going to bring in Treadshot and Windraiser. Now, for Treadshot, what we're going to do is we're going to take off his weapons. And what we're going to do is we're going to put his arms down. And we're going to flip his jet back up over his head just like this. Get that to... Oh, I guess it doesn't click in. Okay. All right, so you'll see that there is a seam right here. Now, with this, it can be a little difficult at times. Sometimes you got to pull his legs apart really hard. I actually had another one of these a couple years ago, and I accidentally pulled the leg too hard, and I broke it. So be very careful when you're disconnecting his waist, because what you'll do is we'll go ahead and split his waist, and then we're going to take his arms, we're going to fold them in, and then fold it so that way this armor plate, it lines up with the shoulder just like that. Fold it in, turn the armor plate. We're going to bring these all the way down just like this, and you'll see that there, oops, sorry, I went out of frame. We're going to bring the leg all the way down, and you'll see that there's a pin right here. That goes into the port right there on his hip. So pin that into his hip just like that. Then what we're going to do is we're going to turn the leg all the way around. You'll see that there is a partial pin right there. Bring the arm out and push it onto that pin, and that will actually solidify that connection. So bring this down. We'll pin it in, and then we'll turn his leg around. There's the pin right there. And connect it onto the other arm, just like that. And that's how both of them will actually sit just like that. Now, since we're going to be using Treadshot for the arm, what we'll do is we're going to take these and we're going to turn the rifle just like this. And we're going to connect the other piece. It just slides up into that piece right there. Bend these barrels. Actually, no, we want these barrels bent. And we'll bend these ones as well. And now what we'll do is we're going to come down here. And here, I'll turn them around, make it easier. We'll take those pins right there. And they're going to go into these ports right here on his feet. And just give me one moment. Go ahead and pin that in just like that. Pin that in just like that. There we go. And then one thing you'll notice is that there's these little pins right here. These actually push up from the bottom, and they will actually go into those little grooves right there, and they will lock this piece onto the legs of Treadshot. So we'll go ahead and flip that down. You see right there, goes right into that little groove, and it'll click in. Sometimes it doesn't sound like it does, but it does actually click in. But there we have the arm of Superion Maximus. And we'll go ahead and do the same thing. And we'll go ahead and move this shoulder joint over a little bit, just like that. And there we go. And then for the legs, it's virtually the exact same thing. The only difference is you do not bend these for his leg components. So turn this, pop this on just like that. And then what we'll do is we'll fold up his landing gear, bring his legs out, bring his arms out, pop his waist apart, flip him over, and spin that around. Just give me 1 second, guys. I apologize. Go ahead and pop that down just like that. Straighten his leg. Bend his foot out. You'll see that there's the pin right there. So we bring his shoulder down and connect it onto that pin just like that. Same thing with the other side. Go ahead and bring this down and put it on that pin. Fold the foot out. There's the other pin. Lock that down just like that. And then attach this onto his feet. Just like this. And just like that. And then pop those connector pieces up. And there we go. There we have, oh, and then finally fold that down. And there we have the arm and the leg of Superion Maximus. Like I said, they are literally the exact same shape. The only difference is you just fold the pieces on their arms. All right. So now we're going to show you Sky Shadow and Terra Dive. Now these guys are really easy to do. They're basically in their vehicle mode when you transform them. I'll start with Terra Dive. So with this, we'll just go ahead and take this off right here, fold up the wing, fold up his landing gear, and you'll see that this pin right here is on a little hinge. Fold that, and you'll see that there's a hole right there. You literally just do this. Put it right on the gun, and you're done. And that's Sky Shadow. Or, excuse me, that's Terra Dive right there. That's literally all there is to it. All right. And then with Sky Shadow, what we got to do is we got to put him back in his vehicle mode, but we are not going to fold up his feet. So we'll flip up his head. We'll flip this back around. But we are going to turn his waist, so I apologize. Go ahead and turn his leg like they should be, and then you'll see that there is a pin right here and right here. Peg those together just like that. That's really the only difference you do. Kind of makes him look like he's on a skateboard. We'll go ahead and flip this up. Flip those in. And we'll go ahead, flip that up. Spin that around. Peg that back in right there. And spin that around just like that. Peg that back in right there. And then fold up the wings just like that. Now with this piece, what you're going to do is you're going to fold it out flat just like that. You'll see this pin. You'll fold it down just like that. Flip it over. And then you'll have a peg here and a peg here. Those are going to go into that port and that port. Now sometimes they're not the most user-friendly in my opinion. But if you put the back peg in first, the front port sometimes behaves, sometimes it doesn't. It's just how the design is. But anyway, there we have the other leg and the other arm of Superion Maximus. Now, if you guys give me 1 minute, I will be right back and we will get on to combining him. All right, and we're back. As you guys can see here, I've got all the pieces laid out and we are ready to go. So just like with my last video, we're going to start with the legs and then attach the arms, and then we will be set. So like I said, the pin system, you can just go ahead and snap this in. Sometimes Superion likes to be a little stubborn, but there's one. And here is two. Just like that. As you can see here, Superion is already ridiculously tall, so give me a second. I'm going to adjust the camera. I think he's actually taller than Superion Maximus. I might be wrong, though. But anyway, so there's Sky Shadow and Wind Razor. And then we have Treadshot. Get him snapped on there. And finally, we have Terra Dive. We'll go ahead and snap him on there. Ah! Don't fall. There we go. Give me 1 second, guys. Sorry about that. He tried doing the splits on me. All right. There we go. There we go. Uh-oh. What's going on? As you can see here, he is not the most stable combination. I don't know why. He is just, he's weird. But, well, anyway, guys. So there's Superion Maximus. As you can see here, he is massive compared to each piece individually. But anyway, so that's the 2004 Transformers Energon Superion Maximus. If you guys have any other ideas for other Transformers you'd like me to try and do, feel free to comment below. Even hit that like and subscribe button and hit the notification bell, and I will do what I can to help you out as we go. Until then, bye.